And George, I want to be sure to ask you about the protest sequence at the end of the film. I mean, it's kind of really impressive in scale. And what was that like, sort of staging and putting on that sequence?
A lot of that was just trying to be as real as possible. So spending a lot of time talking to a lot of people and really just sort of basing it off, the uprisings and the riots in Charlotte and also in St. Louis, and just talking to a lot of individuals that lived through it and dealt with that. So, and then we had to go back because we had to reshoot the old Chris to the new Chris. So we had to make that change. That Amandla had to go back in and find that emotions again. But it's something that we wanted to get right. We spent a lot of time with it, and I'm very happy with how the sequence came out.
Amandla, was it a challenge to have to do that again?
Yeah, it was really challenging. Well, just because the whole experience just kind of felt like this, like there's so many emotions that we feel, I think, within Black communities that we don't always have the time to fully process. And I felt like working on this project was just kind of an exercise in reflection of just really delving into those feelings and actually allowing them to surface and express themselves. And that was really kind of therapeutic sometimes, but also could be really painful. And so when I was done with the shoot, I was like, I'm over this. I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna lay on my couch, I'm gonna chill out. I was kind of finally like calming down, letting go of some of those feelings when we found out that the original actor who played Chris, had made some really racist remarks online. And they were blowing up, and we didn't want to sacrifice the integrity of the film or feel like not every single component of it or person involved in it wasn't actually committed fully and morally.
And George, was that a challenging moment for you as a filmmaker to, in some ways, have to really live the truth and the ideals that the movie itself is trying to set out in the making of it, and to have to make that kind of decision that was going to cost money, it was going to take time, it was going to be difficult? Was that a hard decision to have to kind of make and see through?
Yeah, it was a very hard decision. It was very difficult because it came out 2 days before I was about to deliver my director's cut, and I was feeling really good about it. And the original performance was good too. It was nothing wrong with the performance or the film. It was just very difficult because I heard about Ridley Scott going through that process. But the problem with our film was that our character was in the middle of riot. He wasn't isolated in his own place. He were in the middle of the riot, in the middle of the school, it was always in the middle where there was other actors. And it's so interesting when all the scenes work and then you got to go back and sometimes when you reshoot, you got to reshoot because the story isn't working, but you got to go back and replace how you did it. You got to do it the same way because it really was sort of working. And then midway in the rehearsals and midway in the shooting, it's like we can't really duplicate it, what we did. We just got to be in the moment and do it fresh again. Yeah. Because the other actor is bringing it a different way. Each person doing it a different way. So the great thing was KJ Apa was great, like just great coming in and not trying to change things and more, how can I help the situation? Their chemistry was so much better in terms of working with one another.
Maybe because he wasn't racist.